Right, I do believe we are live, everyone. Hello and welcome back to the International Gran Turismo League's Gr.2 season. We have round 8 for you here today around Catalunya, the Spanish circuit at Barcelona. Very exciting stuff. Qualifying will be underway very shortly, but before we get everything underway, I'm going to get everything set up, add some thumbnails and all that jazz, because I have to keep doing this, because I don't know how to do it before the race actually starts. We'll see if we can find someone who's actually driving around. Nope. You may notice a few new faces here, not ADX Dawson and the McLaren Honda, obviously, although we do love that man. But yeah, some new faces here today. What we have done is essentially promoted some of the guys from Lobby B, who we considered were quite good drivers outright and deserved their opportunity in Lobby A. So, some new guys today. We have Racer Tay in the, I have no idea, possibly a Honda. We've got Mikey Lawton, who's covering for someone else today, I believe in Sissy. We've got Hansa. We have Lukman Ali's GT Sport. And that may be it. I'm not 100% certain on that. But anyway, they're getting the stuck check underway. Of course, the most entertaining part of the race. So let's see what they do. And I'm quickly going to start sharing stuff everywhere, because that's my job while this stuff is happening, essentially. Can someone also tell me if I've actually put a thumbnail up? Because I have no idea. Hello, Heresmisferus. That's close. Yet eat. I like that. That's good enough. Oh. Oh, that's me. I completely forgot I was entered. Right, well. Oh, Bellin and Alekna are already going off. Yeah, this is pretty average. Wizard just being terrible as per usual. Yeah, this is a pretty average stuck check. Racer Tay actually deciding to go for a practice start. Probably a bit more intelligent than the other guys who just decided to run around everywhere, essentially. Let me just check the thumbnail. The thumbnail is working. I am a professional. Right, I've not entered. Good. This time. Yep. Perfect. Oh god, I need to change to K, no, H, and wait for them to head out the pits. Wait for it. There we go. So, we are underway. I'm still sharing stuff. I really need to hurry up with this. Is that it? No, there we go. East. And yeah. But anyway, we are underway here at Catalunya. We have a grid of, I believe, 14 drivers? Roughly 14 drivers. Oh, we're doing another stuck check quickly. That may be my fault, because I was still in the lobby. That was probably my fault. Yeah, I feel quite bad now. But yeah, they're going to do one more stuck check quickly, and then we will get back underway. Practice turn 1 and turn 2. This is just to make sure everything goes smoothly for once. Yeah, we are getting underway. We've got one last stuck check before we begin the proper qualifying this time, not just practice again. Hello Green Hornet, very nice to see you. I hope you're having a good Sunday and a good week overall. Yes, as you can see, a few new names in here. We have Racer Tay, we have Hansa, we have Lukman Ali, and we have Mikey Lawton filling in for Insissi. ADX Dawson, I do believe, is also covering for someone, but forget sometimes who's actually supposed to be here. But anyway, they are underway for the stuck check, actually doing a proper stuck check and actually practicing for once. Instead of just Alegna sideswiping everyone, which is generally what happens in these races. Any exciting drama happening? Oh, ADX also taking out Hansa. Oh, that hasn't gone perfectly. But it's all right. It's all right. It's going okay, and it's only a practice. That's the important thing. It's only a practice. First couple of corners, and they. Yep. Okay, there we go. There's everyone just going straight off. Hansa. So Hansa had a knock-on effect with Apex Predator and Dawson, but in the end, it has all been sorted. And we will wait for someone to go out on track because it's very loud hearing the engine rev in the pits. But anyway, we have, qualifying is now underway. We have 10 minutes of qualifying for everyone to go and set their fastest possible lap time. And we will start by watching the winner of the last 2 races. He won both the sprint race and the feature race of the last round. It is ERT Bellin, repping his Honda. We'll have to see if he can continue his monstrous form around Catalunya. As a hello, can't shake the cliche, and hello Nike Donna. Nice to see you guys. No Lobby B, I have no idea, quite honest, Nike. I'm not 100% sure what happens with Lobby B. I just go here and talk about what happens with these guys, essentially. Yeah, everyone coming around on their outlaps right now, getting ready. We have a massive pack in that midfield of rounds, like 7 cars. Yeah, everyone really bunched up there, all the way from around 4th down to 9th, really. That's quite a big bunching up. That could get in the way of some people during their qualifying lap, so hopefully they do end up spreading out a bit. As you found it, Nike Donna, very nice. Yeah, so everyone, hopefully, spreading out a little bit now. We'll watch Vitminji go for his fast lap. Generally a guy who we can consider a top 5 qualifier, getting into that Super Bowl quite often. Let's see if he's able to do that again this round. In what should be a very close race, we've got obviously some new racers. Racer Tay has been doing very well in his car in Lobby B, so we're expecting him to carry some good momentum into Lobby A. Of course, we have Lukman Ali, who during pre-season was the fastest driver for Lobby B, winning the majority of races, I believe. We'll have to see what he is able to do. And of course, we've got the other 2 who hopefully can challenge for some good positions as well. Just watching Vitminji come round turn 5 now. A very technical track, this, Catalunya. Very easy to get wrong at times. You have grass everywhere and you're really trying to maximise your entry into corners by going as wide as possible. Such as this one, you don't want to be riding that inside curve because it can spit you out, as well as the exit curbing there. If you ride it a little bit too much, can also spit you into the gravel. With a lot of the curbings around here, you really want to avoid. There is the occasional one where you quite easily ride it, such as the entrance into turn 3. Or turn 4, actually. Turn 4 it is. But other than that, you really want to steer clear of those curbs because, as you can see there from Vitminji, it can be very easy to get sucked onto them. And gaining a 3.5 second penalty from that, very easy to gain a penalty around here as well. Penalties quite often will be the downfall of people around here. Running marginally wide can get you a very large penalty, as we just saw there from Vitminji. So hopefully that doesn't happen to him during the actual race. But currently we have ERT Alegna on pole with a 37.5. A very decent lap from Alegna. We have seen in practice a 37 flat from Bellin, so we are expecting the qualifying times to tumble ever so slightly. We'll have to see if anyone's able to really go as fast as physically possible around this track, break into those 36s. Hell, we could even see a 35 if someone really nails that lap. Of course, we did have the FIA Nations Cup today in Paris, the live event, with Nico R taking the victory in the end, doing a fantastic job around the final track especially, as well as his magnificent qualifying lap times overall. And we'll have to see if anyone can pull an eco and break away from the field, or whether they'll have a bit more work to do for them. Maybe like Wong had, the winner of Lobby B, I believe, before they got to the finals, in which Nico eventually ended up winning. But a little background knowledge about the circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. It's got a variety of corners and long straights, as you can see around here. Some very tight, twisty corners, but we do have some long corners, such as that turn 3. The track originally was only known as the Circuit de Catalunya, but that was before a sponsorship deal with the Barcelona City Council, which added Barcelona to the track's title. The circuit was built in 1991 and began hosting the Spanish Grand Prix in Formula 1 that same year, so has been active now for almost 30 years now. Doing a fantastic job as well. This track has always been eventful in Formula 1, and we're expecting it to be just as eventful in this race. Of course, notable events happening around here. We did have the infamous Mercedes crash between Rosberg and Hamilton around here, in which both of them ended up retiring. We'll have to see if anything similar happens, maybe with Alegna and Bellin, offering the opportunity to one of the Ferrari-like guys in Apex Predator, Axel, Vitmin G, anything like that. Maybe Racer Tay can try for that win. As fact, you can't shake the cliche. I am trying to slowly improve this commentary. I'm trying to add different aspects to it. Obviously, we've always had the talking about the racing and the drivers in general and the previous rounds, but I feel like slowly adding more aspects to it, such as the history of the track, well, it does make things a little bit more interesting. As hello, Ninja, very nice to see you. Good luck to all the racers. Yes, good luck to all of them. I'm sure they will do a fantastic job. We've obviously got the new guys. But anyway, currently, looking at your top 5, we do have ERT Alegna, we have PD Apex Predator, we have one of the new guys in Racer Tay in 3rd position. Very good job from him so far. We have ERT Axel in 4th and ADX Dost in 5th, with Wizard, Vitmin G and Bellin knocking on the door there. Of course, we will expect Bellin to eventually put in a faster lap, as we do know his ultimate pace very good around here, and we'll have to see when he is quite able to do that. But currently the grid's looking very close, much closer than normal. Obviously, with most other tracks, we have seen Alegna and Bellin quite quickly break away from the field with around 5/10ths of a gap, or more in some cases, in qualifying. But currently, people are seemingly keeping up with them, as Bellin goes pole by about 3/10ths, 2/10ths maybe, to Alegna. Maybe I spoke too soon, but either way, people do in general seem to be keeping up a little bit better. Of course, Apex Predator doing a fantastic job. Only 3/10ths behind Bellin and 1/10th behind Alegna. So far, Apex Predator, fantastic job, buddy. Hopefully you can keep that up into the race. And we'll have to see. We are coming up to the end of the qualifying session right now, with only a minute and a half remaining. Everyone will be able to finish their lap that they go on to, obviously, but once the 10-minute mark has passed, no one may start another flying lap, and everyone will have to settle with what position they currently have. What time is World Tour event? Do you know, Nike? It has already passed. Unfortunately, it was earlier today at around, I believe, 2 p.m. GMT? Something along the lines of that. So it was around 8 hours ago now. I'll try not to spoil anything else for you if you guys haven't already watched that. I do just realise that I should have warned for spoilers, but anyway, looking at the top 5, Apex Predator moving up into pole position. A fantastic job from him so far. We'll look at him for a second. Just weaving around the track a little bit, trying to get out of the way of Alegna, who was claiming a little bit of slipstream to try and boost his lap. But currently, Apex Predator 8 thousandths ahead of Bellin, doing a fantastic job. That should definitely see him secure in that top 5 shootout. And we'll have to see if anyone can challenge the latter positions of Racete and Axel. Obviously, ADX Dawson and Vitminci known for their top 5 positions. Wizard recently has been challenging for them as well. So we'll have to see if them or, in fact, anyone else can knock on the door of the current top 5. But qualifying does appear to be over. And Apex Predator, currently, pole position. And it doesn't look as though Bellin or Alegna are going to be going any quicker. If we look back for a second, Bellin, he is on a fast lap and he is going faster, in fact. So Bellin looking to make a claim in this initial qualifying session, just to really make sure that people know to fear him going into this top 5 shootout. Currently, though, Apex Predator in pole position, ERT Alegna in 3rd. We'll have to see if Bellin able to move up into that top spot. Getting a little bit of a drift on through that final corner. That will have lost him a couple temps through there. We'll have to see if he's able to challenge still. It's coming down to the wire here and not quite able to do so. 6 temps off his pace. That last sector really not doing too well for him. And it looks as though our top 5 is set in stone. We will have to quickly check. Yep, seems as though that is correct, I think. Yep. So, Apex Predator, fantastic job from him so far, taking the initial pole position ahead of Bellin and Alegna, doing a fantastic job in his Lexus, really repping that Lexus, as the fight often we have seen has been between the Honda and the Nissan of Bellin and Alegna. But Apex Predator doing a fantastic job and taking the fight to them. Racete in 4th position, obviously his first time in Lobby A and already moving up into this top 5 shootout. Very impressive from him. And ERT Axel claiming that 5th position just ahead of ADX Dawson. That often seems to be the case with 5th position really being fought out between the two of them. As often we have seen them chatting to one another directly after the qualifying session is over. And this time ERT Axel just getting the edge over ADX Dawson. He'll be disappointed with that, but still 6th position. Nothing to be sad about. Definitely a fantastic job from Dawson, and we'll have to see if he's able to move up in any sort of position in the race. But obviously now we move into the top 5 shootout. We have PD Apex Predator, ERT Bellin, ERT Alegna, Racete, or may I say AMS Racete, I believe. Just not on that account right now. And ERT Axel in that top 5 as well. We'll look ahead at ERT Axel. Watch bonnet camera as he comes around for his outlap. Obviously no fuel, no tyre wear right now. Getting a little bit of a drift on, maybe just to warm up the tyres, who knows? We'll have to see if Axel maybe just has a little bit of a plot in his head. Quick little fact for you here, Axel is in fact your gutted, another person who was previously from Lobby B, however was so fast in Lobby B that we had to immediately, before anyone else, bump him up into Lobby A. But now Racete up from Lobby B seems to be challenging for top 5 positions along with him, so very exciting to see. As hello Stevie, hello Hansa, very nice to see you. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day and ending it off with some exciting racing. But ERT Axel coming through this final chicane, getting ready to start his Super Pole lap. Rounding the final corner, and his Super Pole lap is underway. We will follow ERT Axel, the man who was in 5th position for the original qualifying session, along for his lap, and see just what sort of lines he's taking. Braking very much after the cones there. Trying to take as flowing a line as possible, and in fact spinning out. Really unfortunate there from Axel, losing him a massive amount of time, and that is not going to be helpful for his qualifying lap. We will in fact move down to Apex Predator, the man who got pole position in the initial qualifying session, and see if he is able to set any sort of blistering lap time and set himself apart from the rest. Getting a decent line through that last corner, however drifting ever so slightly, but really hugging that inside curbing there very well on the next corner. Using up all the track, not riding the curbing too much. And yet again, trying not to touch that dark green AstroTurf, as that really spits you out and can gain you a penalty. Again, hugging that inside curb, but not touching the dark green stuff. Trying not to ride the white stuff on the exit curve, as that can definitely spit you out. Braking just before the flag board for that corner, all the way down in 2nd gear before accelerating away through here. You have to be really careful on the throttle here to try and get a nice line through there. You want to stay as tight as possible while also carrying as much speed, which can be very difficult around there, not to lose the rear end. But coming through this final chicane, riding the curbs ever so slightly, as you do in pretty much any car around this track. And rounding the final corner, what sort of a lap time is Apex Predator going to set? It's going to be a 37.6. A decent lap there from Apex Predator. And at Racer Tay, less than a 10th behind Apex Predator, very close from them. Bellin seems to be going for a much faster lap, as Alegna actually gains pole position by 3/10. We'll have to see if Bellin can challenge that. Moves just behind Alegna, so close between the two of them. Less than a half of a 10th between Alegna and Bellin. Bellin will not be pleased with that. He really needs to claim that pole position to try and lead from the front. But Alegna doing a fantastic job there in 1st position. Really close between the entirety of the field. Normally, we will see quite a large gap in that top 5 qualifying session as people trying to push flat out. We'll see quite a few mistakes. Unfortunately for Axel, he seemed to be claiming all of them in that top 5. But thankfully for the others, able to get some pretty clean runs. I'm sure Apex Predator wouldn't have been happy entirely with his lap, but he has done a fantastic job to claim that 3rd position and is really in a position to challenge Alegna and Bellin. With Racer Tay obviously right behind him as well, can of course challenge the top 3, maybe try and go for a podium in his very first race in Lobby A. It would be very impressive to see that. Axel not getting the run he would have wanted in the Super Bowl, but obviously we've seen just how fast that he can be. And we'll have to see if he's quite able to challenge the 2 ahead of him, maybe try and challenge for that victory later on. The grid definitely more bunched up than normal. We've seen gaps of around an entire second between 1st and 3rd in the Super Bowl, but around here, literally 3/10 covering the top 4. Very impressive from everyone so far, and I'm sure Axel, if he had gotten that clean lap in, would have been around that pace as well. So definitely some close racing going to be happening here, and Catalunya, known to be quite an exciting track. Obviously the main overtaking points will be into that 1st corner after the chicane late on in the lap. It will be the turn 10 hairpin. I believe it's turn 10, I'm not 100% sure. Turn 10 hairpin, I got it right. And of course going into turn 4 after the very long right-hander of turn 3. We could see some more robust moves into turns such as 5, maybe 7. However, those do seem to be the main overtaking points for everyone else. And yeah, we will wait now for the race to get underway. The feature race will come after this. The sprint race, obviously, half race distance in comparison to the feature race. And with no tyre wear and no fuel consumption, people can really just push flat out for this initial race. Alegna opting to explore the track before moving in to this race. As yes, very unfortunate for you there, Race Tay. Definitely think you had a bit more in that lap. However, I do believe that Alegna, Bellin, Apex Predator, they all had a bit more in there as well. No one seemed to hook up that lap perfectly, but everyone's still doing a very decent job of getting around a 37, which is definitely considered to be quite a good lap around here. 36 is what you want to aim for in ultimate pace, but a 37, if you can keep that consistently, can be very good for race pace. As we wait now for the race to get underway. It's been an exciting qualifying and top 5 shootout, to be fair, and I am expecting some good action on this race. Obviously, very close between everyone. We'll look up a few more random facts about this track while we wait. How about this? Racing history. Ayrton Senna and Nigel Mansell went down the entire front straight, side by side, while dueling for second place, with Mansell eventually taking the position and ultimately the race itself. Very exciting. This track also has a MotoGP version. This was originally the normal track version for every race before they added the chicane later on. So the chicane, very late on in the lap, used to just be one right-hand corner leading on to the final corner before the main straight. But now they added the chicane, which adds a little bit of a fun element. People can really muck up that chicane, and it can really spit you out if you ride it too much. Or if you don't ride it enough in some cases, with sometimes people getting their inside wheels just riding over it. And that can spit you out, send you spinning the wrong way. We'll have to see what happens in the race. Hopefully that doesn't happen to anyone, but it would make for some exciting racing. Not that I hope ill of anyone during these races, obviously. But yeah, you want some excitement, don't you? As we do have some suggestions from the spectators right now. We have Matthew Harris suggesting that Alegna starts the race on the tyres that he is absolutely destroying. I do wish we could do that, but however, tyre wear not on, so wouldn't make much of a difference. However, they would be literal melted rubber, which would be quite interesting. However, looking at the grid as we start this race, we have Alegna on pole position yet again. Bellin following directly behind as per usual. Apex Predator in third position, looking to challenge those top two for once. Racer new guy in fourth position, Axel in fifth, and Dawson hoping to knock on that top five in sixth place. 12 laps of the race, ready to get underway. No rolling, manual start as normal, and everyone revving up, and they're underway. A little bit of wheel spin there from Bellin, as it does look as though Apex Predator trying to challenge early on into this race. Bellin tucking straight into the slipstream of Alegna. Doesn't seem like Alegna's going to be challenged whatsoever, but it does seem as though Axel getting a very decent start, looking down the inside of Bellin, not quite able to do it, but Axel moving up into third position. Really good there from Axel, as unfortunately, looking back, we have Apex Predator, who's not had a brilliant start there. Moving down to the back of the field, we'll check out what happened with that later, as Axel gaining a penalty. And Apex Predator, unfortunately, they're not getting a good start, as Axel burning his penalty, moving all the way down to 5th position. Wizard trying to look around the outside of him. But no, Axel holding on to 5th position, but Wizard moving ahead of Dawson in the process. And currently for Buki, all the way up in 4th position. He was qualified. As actually looking back, we have Dawson off in the grass there. Really unfortunate for Dawson. He just seemed to lose the back end of his car. Has now moved down into 12th position. And for Buki currently up in 5th. Trying to get a switchback on Axel, seemingly doing that very well, actually, and moving back up into 4th position. Now Wizard challenging Axel up into 5th position. It's been brilliant here from the guys you don't normally expect to be up here. As Wizard losing his rear end, but they're moving down into 6th position, trying to hold ahead of Lookman. Running ever so slightly wide as Lookman moves up into 6th position. And Wizard holding on to 7th right now. Will he gain a penalty from running wide there? It doesn't seem as though he's looking to gain one. But Mr. Heppo now looking down is inside. Mr. Heppo making a move in a really unorthodox place. And moving up into 7th place. Really good there from Mr. Heppo. Now Vimiji looking to challenge. On to Wizard. Will he be looking down the inside? He is looking down the inside. Will he make the move work? Moving down there. Oh, now Wizard's going to be holding the inside for the next line. He seems to have the better run through the corner overall. And Wizard holding on to 8th position right now, with Mikey Lawton unfortunately losing the rear end through those first complex of corners and moving down into 12th position. Really unfortunate there for Mikey Lawton. But for Buki doing a fantastic job right now, holding on to that 4th position, holding up ERT Axel. And we'll have to see if he's able to hold on to this brilliant position. He qualified around 10th position. So for Buki right now doing a fantastic job in moving up the field, capitalising on everyone else's mistakes, as the top 3 have really started to break away. Alegna and Bellin miles ahead, with Racer Tay trying to follow them through practically. 3.6 seconds ahead of Fabuki in 4th position. Definitely looking good for Racer Tay, getting that podium in his first race. Fabuki defending into this hairpin, looking to defend into the next corner, running a little bit wide, and little bit of contact between the two of them, but Axel moves ahead, and Fabuki down into 5th position, not quite able to defend in the correct manner there, and unfortunately losing that position. Lookman now looking to challenge Fabuki. We'll have to see if he's quite able to do so, but looking back now, we can see Vitminchi right behind Wizard, along with Apex Predator directly behind him. Apex Predator obviously qualifying in 3rd position. Having that really unfortunate start. And Fabuki with a penalty, having to burn that all the way down the straight now, is going to lose speed. Look up to see Mr. Heppo looking around the outside of Fabuki. Will he be able to hold it? He does go all the way around the outside of that first corner. And now Wizard looking to go down the inside, but that turns to the outside and not quite able to pull off the move. But now looking back, we do see, Wizard moving up the inside. A brilliant switch there from Wizard. And now Wizard up into 7th position. And Vitminchi and Apex Predator side by side through turn 4. Brilliant fighting going on so far. Vitminchi just defending that line so far and holding on to 9th place. But Apex Predator, after that horrific start, really starting to get punchy, moving his way up the field. Fantastic job there from Vitminchi, holding position, with Apex Predator fast charging, trying to look to gain positions as quickly as physically possible. Looking ahead, we do see Wizard very close, or Wizard gaining a penalty, in fact. Burning a little bit into the braking zone, but that's just generally how the track works. Vitminchi and Fabuki running side by side into this next corner complex. Wizard having to burn his penalty, moving all the way down to 10th place. Fabuki looking all the way around the outside of Vitminchi, trying to defend his position. They're still side by side going into the final complex of corners. Still side by side going into the final chicane. And Fabuki holding on to that 7th place right now. Apex Predator, in fact, following him through. Fantastic job there from Apex Predator, who decides to go in for his Joker lap ASAP, knowing he's got that pace. As I'm losing my breath commentating on this amazing fighting so far. Absolutely brilliant fight we're here. as we'll look ahead to see Mr. Heppo, currently in 6th position, doing a fantastic job, as well as Racer Tay in his first race in Lobby A, already up into a podium position and quite comfortably. Axel looking to try and push on and challenge him. We'll have to see if he's able to pull that off. However, Racer Tay will be able to hold position. Lukman Ali also doing a fantastic job in 5th right now. With so many of the normal top 5 runners making mistakes there, you've got some people really looking to capitalise on that. Lukman especially, and Racer Tay doing fantastic jobs right now. And Mr. Heppo up in 6th right now, with Fabuki in 7th. You can tell the grid is definitely muddled up a little bit right now. However, looking up at the front, 2 guys that aren't muddled up whatsoever. We have Alegna and Bellin still right at the front of the field, as you'd expect them to be. Bellin with a nice comfortable gap to Racer Tay behind, and looking to try and push to catch Alegna directly ahead of him. We do move on to lap number 5 right now. About a second separating the 2 drivers of Bellin and Alegna. We'll have to see if Bellin is able to pick up the pace a little bit and try to catch up, as Fabuki coming in for his joke lap. We'll have to see where he emerges in all of this. But looking back, we do have Apex Predator right on the back of Hansa. Hansa yet to make his joke lap. We'll have to see if he pulls in. He does not just yet. And Apex Predator obviously having already made his joke lap, look to ride that slipstream of Hansa. With Fabuki now coming out of the pits, unfortunately just behind the 2 of them. Hansa around the outside with Apex Predator looking down the inside. It's an easy move there for Apex Predator. He already knows he's got that pace. He's got the confidence to easily make that move. And now coming around turn 3, it's about pushing on, trying to catch up to the guys further ahead. Trying to set as fast a lap time as physically possible, while keeping it smooth and consistent. And see what he can salvage from what has been a terrible start for Apex Predator. As we do see more drivers up ahead coming in for their joke laps. We have Lukman Ali, Mr. Heppo and Racer Tay all opting to come in for their joke laps. Racer Tay will be an interesting one to watch. We'll have to see where they emerge. If they emerge in any sort of traffic, it does look as though Apex Predator might be a little bit close to them. No, that is in fact ADX Dawson. ADX Dawson might be looking to go around the outside of Racer Tay here. Not quite close enough to go for anything into the first corner, but now definitely one to watch here. We know ADX Dawson can be very punchy around this track, and around any track in fact. He always likes to get his elbows out and fight hard, always having some interesting fights here. We'll have to see if ADX Dawson able to have a nice little scrap with Racer Tay, albeit not for position, as ADX Dawson still yet to come in for his joke lap. ADX Dawson obviously just missing out on that top 5 shootout, with Racer Tay doing a fantastic job in qualifying in 4th position overall. Getting a bit slidey through that combo of corners, hitting Dawson. Thankfully Dawson holds his car, but really unfortunate there for Racer Tay. And that could end up costing him quite a bit, as ERT Axel yet to make any sort of major mistake. And of course Axel, although he still needs to come in for his joker lap, was only around 3 seconds behind Racer Tay. So it could get very interesting watching the 2 of them come around the track later on. Will Axel in the end be able to challenge Racer Tay? Could this have been a mistake from Racer Tay, having that pressure from ADX Dawson directly behind him? As now Racer Tay going to have to really push on, try and set some really fast laps to make sure he can emerge ahead of Axel when Axel comes in for the Joker lap. Looking ahead here, we do have Belin and Alegna still doing a dominant job in first and second position. Alegna pulling out a bit more of a gap now, the gap increasing ever so slightly from a second to 1.4 seconds, actually coming down a little bit down this straight, but we'll have to see if Belin able to move into that slipstream, because once he is able to do that, that's when things are going to get a little bit interesting. That's when he's going to properly start being in that suck zone. Is going to be able to easily move up onto the rear of Alegna. If Alegna can keep this gap at what it currently is, though, Belin is going to struggle to get anywhere close to Alegna, as he's just out of the slipstream range, and that's really what he needs if he wants to be catching up to Alegna, who just seems to be controlling the race right now, doing a fantastic little job. Neither of them yet coming in for their Joker laps. The end of the Joker lap period will be on lap 9. So everyone still with a couple of laps to do so, as Axel coming into the pits for his Joker lap. This is definitely something we need to watch, as if we move to Racer Tay's point of view, Axel and Racer Tay were very close to one another earlier on. We'll have to see just whereabouts Axel emerges. As Axel coming out of the pits right now, Racer Tay coming down the main straight as well. Will this end up being side-by-side action? They are side-by-side, in fact. Axel looking to hold the place, and Axel moving up into fourth, which is a net third position, holding on to what is currently fourth place, waiting for Vitamin G, obviously, to come in for their Joker lap. But Axel claiming that third place, essentially, after Racer Tay unfortunately making that mistake earlier on. We'll look back, though, and see ERT Wizard and Fubuki having a really tough fight here. Wizard obviously did get the cutback move earlier on Fubuki. He seems to be doing the same right now. Brilliant there from Wizard, pulling the exact same move he did earlier on Fubuki, as Fubuki looking for a move down the inside, but not quite going for anything just yet. Trying to hold the tighter line around turn 4 and follow Wizard along, getting a little bit of a snap of oversteer there, unfortunately. But Wizard running wide through that corner, and as we can see further up ahead, we do have Alegna and Belin both coming into the pits for their Joker laps. The two of them obviously separated by around a second, though, so nothing going to be happening quite just yet with the two of them. But Fubuki directly behind Wizard, running into the gravel ever so slightly, and gaining a 1.4 second penalty. But in fact, burning it all going into that braking zone. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to handle that situation, as you can and will just burn penalty going into that braking zone. For some reason, the game doesn't think you need to brake there, and yeah, as soon as you start braking for the corner, the penalty just goes away. It's not something we can control, and unfortunately Fubuki seems to have lost the slipstream further ahead anyway. But looking ahead, we do have Mr. Heppo and Vitamin G very close to one another after Vitamin G coming in for his Joker lap. But Mr. Heppo holding on to that 6th position and is now going to have to defend against Vitamin G, getting a little bit slidey through turn 3, but holding the speed nonetheless. Vitamin G's still got some work to do if he's looking to gain a top 6 position. Lukman Ali still in 5th position, keeping us cool, keeping that position overall, doing a fantastic little job. We will look ahead, however, for this fight for third, as Racer Tay gaining a 1.8 second penalty. So unfortunate for Racer Tay. They're going to have to burn that at some point, seemingly going into this braking zone, but now losing the slipstream of Axel ahead. And Racer Tay going to have to try to fight back to get back in that slipstream of Axel. That's obviously where they need to be if they're going to look to claim that third position. With only 3 laps remaining, however, it's going to be very difficult if they want to claim that third position. Axel obviously known to put up some very good defences at times, with some very good attacks as well. Looking back, however, we do see PD Apex Predator. Really unfortunate race for him so far. After doing such a magnificent job in qualifying, has moved down into 8th position. Not quite able to have the same luck, unfortunately. However, looking ahead, two men who are very close right now are Alegna and Bellin. Alegna seemingly must have made a mistake somewhere along the lines, unless Bellin has just suddenly burst in with some pace here, as the two of them separated by only 7 tenths. Bellin really looking to push Alegna to the limit to try and claim this race victory. And the two of them doing a fantastic job right now, 13 seconds ahead of Axel. We were saying things look a little bit closer, and they have been, in fact. However, Alegna and Bellin still looking to be their dominant selves. Bellin getting a little bit slidey on the exit of that corner, but doing a fantastic job nonetheless. And Bellin, right behind Alegna, is definitely going to be looking to challenge. However, losing about a tenth through that chicane and is going to be out of slipstream range right now. Very unfortunate there for Bellin. And he will have to wait for a later opportunity. However, with only 2 laps remaining, he is running out of time if he really wants to be aiming for that race victory. Obviously, with the race victory, he will be starting at the back of the grid for the feature race. So in a way, this will help him out in the feature race. However, you really do just want to maximise points, with Alegna almost running wide on turn 3, really maximising the entirety of the track. As hello King Jev, yes, Rin is racing. Doing a fantastic job so far, in 4th position, directly behind Axel. Was racing up in 3rd position earlier, however, with an unfortunate mistake, moved down to 4th. Vitmiji, though, right now, really pressurising Mr. Heppo. In 7th place, almost running wide round turn 3. Getting very close to exceeding those track limits. And currently, Miss Heppo is really going to be feeling that pressure. Only 5 tenths separating the two of them. Vitmiji really looking to turn things up here. Has got to get a move on if he wants to be claiming that position. Mr. Heppo, however, has been doing a fantastic job around Catalunya. Obviously, a very technical track, which does help with the Honda. The Honda, known to be a little bit more of a technical car, has been holding some fantastic pace in that car. We're currently 7th position for Vitmiji, really pressurising Mr. Heppo, as Mr. Heppo, in fact, gaining on Lookman as well. It could get very interesting later on in this race, as the guys ahead moving on to the final lap have already started the final lap, in fact, and are looking around turn 3 right now. But the guys we're going to watch right now are Vitmiji and Mr. Heppo, very close between the two of them. Vitmiji closing the gap through this final corner, the gap now only 2 tenths. And Vitmiji looking to get past Mr. Heppo, holding the inside line. Vitmiji trying to look around the outside, which will turn to the inside if he can hold it going into turn 2. Mr. Heppo braking later though, but has in fact broken a little bit too late. And Vitmiji easily able to swoop past into 7th position. Fantastic job there from Vitmiji. Unfortunate from Mr. Heppo that he wasn't quite able to fend off. And now looking back behind, we do have Apex Predator, but Vitmiji has gained a penalty, and that has moved him right back down to 8th position. Mr. Heppo moving back up into 6th, but really coming under threat from Apex Predator. Apex Predator running over one of the cones, in fact. And that's made sure that Mr. Heppo able to hold the position right now. As Mr. Heppo really close, right on the limit right now, with Apex Predator obviously looking to gain some redemption. But we're looking ahead right now at Alegna and Bellin. So close for Bellin, but Alegna just having that pace advantage with the pole position and claims the first round victory. The sprint race is yours, Alegna. Congratulations. Bellin, very close racing behind. Brilliant job there. Axel looking to come around the final corner, claiming that final podium position in 3rd position. Fantastic job there from Axel. Race attained, not quite what they would have wanted, as they were in 3rd position earlier on, but still 4th place. Fantastic job on their debut in Lobby 5. or Lobby A, sorry. But looking at position number 5, we have Lukman Ali, another man making their debut in Lobby A in 5th position. Mr. Heppo claiming what I believe is a season best result in 6th place. Fantastic job there from Mr. Heppo. Apex Predator in 7th position, not quite what they would have wanted after that monstrous start for them though. It was really all they could recover. Vitmin G there in 8th, unfortunately having a few penalties, knocked him down a few positions. ADX Dawson in 9th, Wizard in 10th, Fabuki in 11th, Mikey Lawson in 12th, and Hansa coming around the final corner to take 13th. But looking ahead, we have your race victory, or race winner, sorry, ERT Alegna. Fantastic job from Alegna, brilliant fighting, and well done. That's a fantastic job from all the racers. It's been a very fun race. That first 3 or 4 laps was just incredibly intense the entire time. As I don't remember even a moment in which I wasn't talking, to be quite honest. But a fantastic job overall from all the racers for giving us such exciting racing to watch. But now we have the feature race. We will of course have a short break before the feature race gets underway, as everyone probably needing to go to the toilet after what was pretty much an intense race. But nice to see you, Hooby. Yep, thank you for the compliments on the commentary, guys. I really appreciate it. It's very nice to hear that you guys are enjoying the commentary. I'm looking to try and do it more and more, try and make this commentary just as good and as fun as possible for basically you guys to just watch. Yeah, a fantastic job there from Alegna. And now we move on to the feature race. As you can see on screen, double the race distance from 12 laps up to 23, which will make it around a 40-minute race, I believe. And of course, tyre wear and fuel turned on 9 times for the tyre wear, 5 times for the fuel. We have had to adjust things ever so slightly because PD recently have updated the game, basically changing tyre wear ever so slightly, making the tyre wear in general a little bit less overall. As well as that, we do have racing mediums on. What this essentially means is everyone will have to use both compounds of tyres, the mediums and the hards, at some point in the race. And yeah, that's about it. They have free tyre choice. Other than that, they can use as many sets of mediums, as many sets of hards as they want, as long as they use one of each. Yeah, we'll watch along Alegna having a little bit of fun drifting as we take a short break before the next race. I'm going to drink a small amount of Oasis, which I got for 50p from work because they give me cheaper Oasis for some reason. I do love some citrus punch. It says £1 on the bottle. Love to get a little bit of a discount. Obviously, the fact that I work there, they do just let me have stuff occasionally for free. And yeah, I'm not going to say no. Free bottle of water, free Oasis. Hell, I've had a free J2O once. Although, don't tell my bosses, I didn't tell them about that. I shouldn't have said this on stream, probably. Oh, who cares? They don't watch this. That's the kind of insight you don't get with F1 commentary. Thank you, Can't Shake the Cliche. I must admit, that the F1 commentators have probably never told you about the fact that they got a free Oasis one time from work. Suffolk boys are tight, completely correct to brag. Love it, Stevie. You are completely correct. We are tight. I have to pronounce the name again. Herasmias. Did I get that correct? Yeah, that works. Mr. Heppo is so sexy. I completely believe with you there, Herasmias. I really hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If I'm not, I apologise profoundly. I'm not very good with pronunciations. Injay, product placement at its finest. Yes, I must admit, I do love a bit of Oasis. King Jeff, someone from Suffolk? Yes, that would be me. I am from Suffolk. And Stevie, ERT Stevie, also used to be from Suffolk. Us guys, Suffolk farmer lads, basically. Although, admittedly, I've never done any farming in the entirety of my life and don't plan to ever do it. That's why I'm doing a degree in accounting, so I can have an office, stable income, and literally do nothing with my life. Oh wow, this got dark pretty quickly. But back onto the racing. They've been doing some fantastic jobs on track today, I have to admit. So, some amazing little fights. We have, of course, had a little bit of contact between people, especially in those first few laps. We had a little bit of contact between Axel and Tay earlier on in their fight for the podium position. I have lived there for the last 15 years near good old... Oh my god. Well, this is weird. King Jeff lives very near me. Whoa, I did not see this coming. Yeah, okay. This is a little bit weird now for me. You are from Ipswich? Yes, Stevie? I know that, but you're probably telling that to Jeff, not to me. I'm going to keep drinking Oasis. Oasis, citrus punch, real fruit, natural flavours. Secret Stalker. Jeff, I've lived here my entire life, which is longer than 15 years. So, you're stalking me, mate, to be quite honest, so you can go away. Yeah. Thunder is completely freaked out now. Yeah, pretty much. Learning that someone has been stalking me for the past 15 years before I even knew about them. Only discovering them from their YouTube channel. A little bit weird. But, you know, sometimes you just got to take things with a pinch of salt, I guess. Does that saying make sense in this circumstance? I don't really know. We'll just go along with it anyway. I do love Citrus Punch Oasis. It is a lovely drink, I have to admit. Parents moved to Bacton. Oh my god, you are so close to me, King Jeff! Suffolk well represented in GT Sports. Well, I mean... I wouldn't go that far, Stevie. I mean, we're not exactly in Paris right now, are we? However, I was close. Number 1 or number 2, I completely forget. Driver for McLaren in the real FIA season, even though McLaren didn't even make it through to any live events, to be fair. Haha, I am uni in Gloucestershire. Oh, thank God. Phew. Oh, you worried me. By the way, when are we getting this race underway? I'm expecting probably in 2 minutes or so. Something like that. Next GT Sport World Tour to be held at the Suffolk Showground. Oh God, no. Oh, that is bad. Oh, that. Oh, the Suffolk Showground. I went there a few times. To be fair, the Suffolk Show is pretty cool. I have enjoyed it quite a bit. However, slowly over time, you just go there and you just like everything is the exact same. There's a bunch of tractors everywhere. There's some horses and some farm animals, and occasionally some guys ride the horses and food and that. Yeah, to be honest, that is literally the only reason I go, because there are so many food stands, and there's this one place where you can have a waffle on a stick with a melted chocolate on it. Not just like milk chocolate, like it has melted milk chocolate, melted white chocolate. You can get dark chocolate, but I choose not to, as I don't think it works overall with the flavour combinations. As Mr. Heppo, fantastic job there. 6th position, definitely did really well there. You had your massive fan here, Herasmius Varus, cheering you on. Yeah, you did a fantastic job there, Mr. Heppo. Definitely did well to claim that 6th position, fighting your way through the chaos. And I believe we will be underway very shortly. We have a couple more minutes. We'll change to someone else for once, because Alegna always gets... Actually, wait, no. Sorry, Vitamin G, about this. Sorry about... Oh, no, Mr. Heppo's not moving. Back to Vitamin G! As I do just realise, essentially in my room I do have 2 framed pictures of Formula 1 cars. Don't ask me why. My parents decided to renovate my room one time and decided to put 2 pictures of Formula 1 cars in my room. We do have the 2012, I believe it is, McLaren, which I was a fan of. But then we also have last year or the year before, the original orange and blue McLaren from 2017 or 18, something like that. And I must admit, it's not a great car, is it? Like, I'm just looking at it and just thinking, oh my god, that was slow. What was your opinion about the World Tour Thunder? Well, I'm not sure I'm 100% allowed to talk about it, just in case people haven't watched it. Also, could we get Racete to enter the track, please? As we are about to get underway with the feature race. As a Hubie, what was my opinion of the World Tour? Well, I thought it was very unfortunate for TRL Lightning Mikhail in 2nd position, obviously hitting the pit wall on his final pit stop, I believe, during the very final race, which did lose him track position to Nicolas Rubbelard. However, overall, we have seen Nicolas Rubbelard doing an absolutely fantastic job around Autopolis. He claimed the race victory in the International Gran Turismo League run by Yomas, a different International Gran Turismo League. He claimed the victory in that and did a fantastic job claiming pole position, I believe, by about a 10th. So, yeah, really proving why he is just so dominant around Autopolis. And realistically, he did have the pace to win that race anyway. It was just unfortunate that Lightning lost it in that fashion, because I do believe if Lightning had just ended up fighting Rubbelard and Mikhail Lightning lost the position through pure fighting, he wouldn't have been quite as disappointed. As when you do end up losing a race of your own, what's his name? Of your own accord. When you end up losing something because of your own fault, essentially, something that you've done yourself, you really feel just so distraught that you destroyed your race yourself. But when you're fighting someone and you know that they've just had an amazing race, which, to be fair, Rubbelard just did have. He just was so amazing in that race. And I do overall believe that Nico did deserve that victory, because he had that ultimate pace in the final race. He didn't quite have the car choice, I believe, in his semi-final, which allowed Lightning victory quite comfortably. But overall, if I had to say someone who deserved it, I would say it was the overall winner in Rubbelard. I do think Lightning did equally, almost equally deserve that victory. However, obviously the mistake didn't help him. But overall, I think Rubbelard, he just had that pace. And although it was unfortunate for Lightning, he's going to move on from this and he's going to learn from it. He's definitely going to fight back harder for the Nürburgring event. But anyway, looking on at our own race right now, we have the final race. We have the feature race yet again, but this time around Catalunya. The Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona. We have Hansa starting in pole position, after unfortunately coming last in the first race. Belin and Alegna right at the back of the grid, with Axel and Racete joining them. We do have Apex Predator right in the middle of the field. We'll have to see if Apex Predator, with that ultimate pace, whether they are able to actually make up some positions, maybe claim that victory. But they're underway already. Some very quick lights going out there. And Wizard already on the grass a little bit, trying to look up the inside of guys. It does seem as though they're going free wide towards the first corner. Wizard trying to get his nose in early. And Wizard currently moving up into first position. Hansa, unfortunately, running wide. We'll look back to see Racer Tay making up a lot of positions, already in 5th place. A fantastic job there from Racer Tay. Vitmiji holding 4th place right now. ADX Dawson right behind Tay in 6th. But Apex Predator, as expected, has been the one to capitalise the most in first position right now. We look back to see Alegna right in the midst of things. Lukman Ali getting a little bit sideways through turn 4 and unfortunately losing the position. Bellin and Alegna nose to tail right now, as Bellin looks to just follow Alegna through the field. Racer Tay already moving up into 4th. Fantastic from them so far. As it seems all the fast guys are really getting a move on around this track. Looking ahead, we do see Racer Tay right on the back of Vitmiji. Racer Tay with a blinding start so far. Absolutely amazing. Looking down the inside of Vitmiji. Vitmiji trying to get the cut back, it seems, and is able to do so quite easily so far, but actually Racer Tay holding the better line through there and claiming 3rd place. Fantastic so far from Racer Tay. Looking back, we see Bellin with a 1.3 second penalty. Really unfortunate there for Bellin. He's going to have to try and burn it off the racing line just there. And now in 7th place, he's going to have to try to catch up to the guys ahead. Vitmiji unfortunately running onto the grass ever so slightly, losing a lot of pace and 2 positions to Dawson and Alegna, with Bellin right in the slipstream now as well. But Alegna right on the back of ADX Dawson. Alegna cutting to the outside line with Dawson holding that inside. Trying to go around the outside is Alegna, but Dawson holding the line very well right now and keeps 4th place. Fantastic job so far from Dawson holding that positioning. But things definitely heating up with Alegna trying to force a move anywhere he really can. But looking back, we do see a massive pack. Mikey Lawton looking up the inside of Bellin, not quite able to go for anything just yet. Fabuki looking down the inside of Axel, forcing Axel slightly wide, but not quite able to go for anything as Axel with the better line holds the position. Vitmiji just slowly losing positions right now, but looking ahead, we do have Alegna still right on the rear of Dawson. Doing a fantastic job so far is Alegna, moving his way up through the field along with Racer Tay, and Apex Predator really stretching his lead in 1st place. 6 seconds is the gap from Alegna to Apex Predator. And Apex Predator currently with around 3 seconds, maybe 4 to Wizard behind. So fantastic from Apex Predator so far. Dawson running slightly wide through that chicane. Not chicane, sorry, the hairpin. Losing him quite a bit of time, and now Alegna rides on the rear with Bellin right on the rear of Vitmiji directly behind. And Racer Tay, in fact, right on the rear of Wizard ahead. So really, there's a lot of fights between 2 guys right now. But we will just watch this one, as in fact Alegna not getting a great run out of the corner. We'll check on Racer Tay and Wizard. Racer Tay right behind Wizard. Only 2 temps separating the 2 of them. Will we see Racer Tay try to pull off a move here? Wizard doesn't go defensive, and Racer Tay just tucks in behind. But looking back, could we see any sort of move for Alegna? Not quite. Bellin also not going for any sort of move right now. And everyone just seemingly holding position, but looking back, could we see? We do see Lukman trying to hold the inside line on Mike Lawton, not quite able to go for anything, and that has in fact allowed Fabuki and Mr. Heppo through, as Lukman trying to gain 1 position has ended up losing 2. Really unfortunate there for Lukman. Now looking ahead, we do have Mr. Heppo going down that inside of Fabuki. Fantastic little move there from Mr. Heppo. And so far some fantastic racing. Lukman looking down the inside off Fabuki, pulling off that move in a fantastic style. And Fabuki down to 12th there, losing 2 positions in 2 corners. Really unfortunate for Fabuki, as he's going to have to try to pull back some positions on Lukman and Mr. Heppo later on. But looking ahead, we do still have these 2-way fights, as in fact Alegna has moved ahead of Dawson. We have missed that, unfortunately, as Bellin still right with Vitmiji, and up ahead we do have Racer Tay right with Wizard. So everyone really still in these 2-way scraps, as we'll follow along with Racer Tay right behind Wizard right now, and with 5 seconds to Apex Predator, it's really seemingly holding up Apex Predator. Wizard gaining a 1.8 second penalty. That's really unfortunate there for Wizard. He's going to have to burn that down the straight, not into the braking zone, unfortunately. So around, yep, halfway down the straight, he's starting to burn the penalty, and that's going to allow Racer Tay easily through. As Wizard moving back onto the racing line, holds 3rd place right now. And looking back, we do have Bellin easily making the move, and Axel trying to make a move on Vitmiji as well. Not quite able to do so, but Vitmiji went a little bit deep. Axel tried to go all the way around the outside there. Brilliant move from Axel. What a move there. Forced Vitmiji to go a little bit too deep into the corner, which allowed him a better, smoother run through turn 2. Fantastic there from Axel. And we'll look ahead now to see Alegna right behind Wizard. Wizard, unfortunately, with that penalty earlier on, has lost the position to Racer Tay. But Alegna now, the next one, right on the rear of Wizard. And we'll have to see just what Wizard is made of and whether he'll be able to hold off Alegna. And of course, ADX Dawson directly behind Alegna as well, will be looking to get past Wizard, maybe Alegna himself. But looking back, we do have Vitmiji very close to ERT Axel still. The two of them obviously very similar on pace quite a lot of the time. And currently, Vitmiji just holding on, waiting for an opportunity to arise to move himself ahead of Axel. Not quite able to do anything just yet. We'll look ahead again though at Alegna. A matter of tenths behind Wizard, 2 tenths now, and he's going to be looking for a move down this main straight. He's looking to the inside, maybe, not quite. Yes, he is. Alegna looking down that inside. He's easily made the move work, as with that slipstream is able to pull off the move before the corner has even happened, and Wizard having to concede to Alegna and move down into 4th position, is now going to have to defend from ADX Dawson behind. But looking ahead, just for a second, we do have Apex Predator doing a fantastic job, 7 seconds ahead of Racer Tay. We saw earlier on, Apex Predator had fantastic pace in his Lexus, fighting with Alegna and Bellin for the pole earlier on, and now doing a fantastic job stretching his lead to Racer Tay and the guys behind. But could we see someone other than Bellin and Alegna win a race in what seems like forever, since JPS Raiden unfortunately had to exit from the league for personal reasons? But looking back, we do have ADX Dawson right on the rear of Wizard. Wizard still holding on to Alegna, so seemingly keeping good pace here. And if he can hold on to the slipstream, that will be crucial for him down that main straight, as it will definitely help in the defence against ADX Dawson later on. But it does seem as though Wizard's slightly losing that slipstream now, as the gap does seem to be just over a second between the two of them. But ADX Dawson right on the rear of Wizard. It's definitely going to be a bit of a drag fight down this main straight, as unfortunately Racer Tay with a penalty. Looking ahead, we do have Alegna right in the slipstream of Racer Tay. Could Alegna be looking for a move around that outside? And it seems though Alegna easily able to pull off that move, as Racer Tay with less overspeed, not quite able to get the correct line into the first corner. Alegna now claiming 2nd place, can hunt down Apex Predator in 1st. Really unfortunate there for Racer Tay, seemingly just running wide through that final chicane and losing that position, and now maybe into the clutches of Wizard, and Racer Tay claiming another penalty. Unfortunately conceding both positions to Dawson and Wizard, with Wizard moving back up into the podium positions now. Racer Tay with a couple of penalties that seemingly just ruining that race of what was a 2nd position in a matter of half a lap, has moved down to 5th place. Hopefully they can fight back and later on challenge for that podium, as Wizard now claiming a 1.6 second penalty. There's penalties flying everywhere. Wizard moving off of the racing line and burning that penalty down, allowing everyone through, as Bellin pulling a fantastic move on Racer Tay up into 4th place, but Racer Tay holding it very well, holding that inside line, the correct line you want through that corner. And Bellin now trying to look down the inside yet again, not going for anything just yet. but now right on the rear of Racer Tay. It's definitely getting very close between everyone. Racer Tay getting a little bit squirmy on the exit of the final corner. That will definitely allow Bellin a slightly better run down this main straight. As unfortunately Michael Lawton having to leave, not quite sure about that. But Bellin now looking down the inside of Racer Tay, braking later. Racer Tay trying to hold it around the outside, which turns to the inside, but Bellin now might have the inside going into this next corner. Yes, he does. But Racer Tay seemingly already moving ahead before that turn 3 even happens. But could we see Bellin looking for a move going into this next corner? Slightly looking down the inside, but not quite going for anything just yet. And all of this just allowing Apex Predator, Alegna and Dawson to stretch away ever so slightly. Now Bellin looking around the outside of turn 5. A very unorthodox place to look for a move. And as you can see, they're not quite able to pull it off, as even Bellin has limits in this Honda. Racer Tay again getting a little bit squirmy there, seemingly just their racing style. Holding onto the car very well, right on the ragged edge. And currently defending from Bellin, doing a fantastic little job there, as they seemingly are having just a fantastic little scrap. Bellin not quite able to pull off any sort of move just yet. So yeah, Racer Tay really pushing that car to its very limits to try and hold off Bellin. Behind in the exact same car, of course. However, Bellin, we just know, is really able to maximise a car's potential. And now 5 tenths behind Racer Tay. Could we see Bellin trying to go for another move on Racer Tay? Bellin really seemingly needing to get a move on through this pack, as he's really in the fight for a podium position and to try and challenge Alegna in the championship. And this will not be helping him right now. Racer Tay getting a little bit sideways through turn 1, but holding the car very well. As the Honda, generally you can just take a little bit sideways. Racer Tay doing a fantastic job to hold that sideways car. Up in 4th place right now. Yeah, between the two of them, still only around 4 tenths. Bellin really piling the pressure on as Racer Tay getting it squirmy through that chicane complex. Could in fact pick up a penalty, has picked up a penalty. 1.5 seconds. It seems Racer Tay really being undone by the penalties around Catalunya today, as it has just cost them so many positions around this track. And unfortunately moving down into 5th position, and Bellin will be so thankful for that, as now they can try to push on, trying to catch up to Dawson. But really unfortunate there for Racer Tay, was putting up a fantastic defence against Bellin. And a penalty has unfortunately unravelled that entire defence. Now looking up ahead, we do have Dawson in the pits watching Bellin right now. We'll see what sort of lap time he is able to do. We'll go to, that's bonnet camera, there we go. But Dawson coming into the pits, as well as Axel, the two of them both opting to go for the lap 9 pit. We'll have to see where they emerge on track, whether they emerge in any sort of traffic, whether they're trying to get the undercut on some of the guys further ahead. But currently we do have to note that Apex Predator is doing a fantastic job holding that around 9-second gap to Alegna, doing amazing so far. We are definitely going to be watching Apex Predator later on in this race, as Alegna, we know, has some amazing pace, but Apex Predator here today, he's just been on fire, to be honest. Unfortunate in that sprint race that he wasn't quite able to capitalise after having that early off on the first lap, but now, having started mid-pack and moving his way up into first very early on in the race, as Bellin getting a little bit sideways through the cornering there, but holding the car very well. But Apex Predator, yeah, holding the car very well in this feature race, has in fact decided to come into the pits on the medium compounder tyre So we'll have to see what Alegna and Bellin are on right now, as I'm not sure whether they decide to go into the pits. It doesn't seem as though they are deciding to go into the pits just yet, so possibly they are on the harder compound of tyre. But Apex Predator will have that undercut. Will be on for some faster lap times right now. However, we've seen how fast Alegna and Bellin can be on their medium compound of tyre. Apex Predator coming out of the pits right now, claiming 7th position right now, has some very clear track ahead of him, with only Lookman 5 seconds ahead, seemingly. Mr. Heppo further ahead, as well as ERT Wizard, who unfortunately seemingly has made a mistake, losing quite a bit of time to Alegna and Bellin. As we'll cut now to the race cameras. We'll watch Wizard go around the track for a second, as it seems as though everyone seemingly just in their own pocket of air right now. Just trying to set as fast a lap time as physically possible, as they always try to do, but obviously it can be very difficult as they have to try and hold that pace consistently throughout the entirety of a 23-lap race. It can be very difficult the entire time. As can't shake the cliche, Thunder, are you planning on doing more commentary on IGTL? Makes a huge difference to the quality of a stream. Well, can't shake the cliche, as Hoopy has stated, I have done the other GR2 races. I did unfortunately miss 2 of them because of work and real life issues before. As in fact, looking up ahead, we do have Racer Tay on the hard compound tyres in 3rd place, coming into the pits. Very interesting that Tay on the hard compound, opting to come into the pits on lap 10. Could this mean a 2-stop for Tay, putting on the mediums right now and running another set of mediums later on? As in fact, it is possible to do a 1-stop around this track. It is very difficult. You do have to short shift the car quite a bit. However, it can definitely be done, as we do possibly see Alegna and Bellin doing right now. Racer Tay emerging on the track, right behind Vitmin G, around where you would expect them to be, as Vitmin G earlier on did claim their position after a penalty from Racer Tay. As I was saying earlier, can't shake the cliche, I have been doing commentary for the GR2 season. I did miss 2 of the races, but I don't have plans for doing any of the other IGTL things right now. I am quite busy, unfortunately, with university work and quite a lot of other stuff, part-time work, stuff like that. My schedule can be very varied as to what can happen. However, Sunday, late on, does always seem to be a time that I am able to make, as we do look ahead to see Alegna coming into the pits, as well as Bellin. Alegna with 8% fuel though, and Bellin with 3% of fuel. So maybe a 1-stop not quite possible here. As it does seem as though even the top guys having to concede eventually. However, Wizard carrying on will claim 1st place right now and could be on for a 1-stop. We'll have to see just what Wizard is doing here. But currently, as well as Lookman Ali, has been doing a fantastic job just holding enough fuel to maybe make a 1-stop work. As Alegna putting in 73% of fuel, clearly opting to go for that 2-stop race in the end. As Bellin filling up all the way, as he pretty much does every single race for some reason. But looking back, actually, we do see Apex Predator 4.5 seconds behind Wizard, so gaining rapidly. And Apex Predator, obviously, with that earlier pit stop, he had the undercut on quite a few drivers, as well as Alegna and Bellin. And currently it's going to be a case of for Alegna as to whether he will just be able to keep some very decent pace and try to catch up to Apex Predator, who currently, with that fastest lap, clearly doing a fantastic job. Keeping up some brilliant pace, gaining up on Wizard through all these corners. Obviously on the much fresher tyres right now. Yeah, with some differing strategies, things could get a little bit interesting later on. As Wizard finally conceding and coming into the pit lane with 2% of fuel, so doing a fantastic job with the fuel saving. And Lukman Ali coming in with 6% of fuel, doing an even better job there. And currently, if we look back to ERT Alegna, the man is definitely on a mission, 1.1 seconds behind ADX Dawson. ADX Dawson was, of course, in second position earlier on, having been able to slice his way through the field a little bit faster than Alegna, having started a little bit higher up. And Alegna still got some work cut out for him if he wants to chase down Apex Predator for this race victory. Alegna going 3/10 purple in the first sector alone, so clearly showing that he's got the pace to catch up to these guys ahead. And now right on the rear of Dawson. We'll have to see if Dawson is able to pull off some defensive masterclass here. He goes defensive into the chicane. Not a place you typically have to go defensive into, but Dawson feeling it necessary as Alegna right on his rear. Now 1/10 separating the two of them. Dawson holding that inside line, should have the better line going into this hairpin. And Alegna seemingly having to concede unless he can get the switch back on Dawson. It doesn't seem as though he's got his nose up the inside, but backs out of it. Dawson holding on to second right now. Doing a fantastic job of holding off Alegna, which in the end could help out Apex Predator later on into this race. And Dawson running a little bit wide, that will compromise his line going through this chicane. As in fact, Alegna now really closing rapidly up to the back of Dawson. Only a 10th separating the two of them, as Dawson deciding to go defensive into this next corner. Alegna cutting to the outside. Dawson holding the inside. Who will break later? It seems as though Alegna is trying to swoop all the way around the outside. He's done it going into the first corner. A little bit squirmy on the exit of turn 2, but holding the position nonetheless. And now we can focus on catching up to Apex Predator ahead. A fantastic job there from Alegna. We will cut back, however, to see Mr. Heppo and Fabuki very close to one another right now. 4/10 separating the two of them. Mr. Heppo riding the curbing a little bit too much, getting his rear stepping out ever so slightly, but holding his car very well. Right on the back of Fabuki, things could get interesting for the two of them. But looking at further ahead, actually, we do have Racer Tay and Vitmin G very close to one another. Racer Tay right on the rear of Vitmin G. We've seen Tay with some brilliant pace so far this race, and Vitmin G not quite holding the standard that we're used to, as Racer Tay unfortunately spinning out. Oh, so unfortunate there for Racer Tay. Just losing the rear, going onto the back of the secondary straight. So unfortunate there. That not only will have cost them so much time, around 5 seconds, but also a heap of tyre wear. Really unfortunate there for Racer Tay, as now they've got a lot of work if they want to catch up to Vitmin G and Bellin again. Definitely seems like a feat that they can achieve though, as looking back ahead at Vitmin G again, we do have Bellin directly behind. Obviously we saw Bellin going into the pits much later than Vitmin G, now looking down the inside of them. Will they be able to pull off a move going into turn 1? They've got the slipstream right now. Trying to brake later, trying to hold that line. Bellin definitely moving ahead of Vitmin G right there, as Vitmin G on the older tyres not quite able to hold it just well enough. And now Vitmin G down into 5th place, but still holding some good pace. No real mistakes yet from Vitmin G. So now they've just got to try to hold some decent pace. Maybe try to hold on to the back of Bellin. But it does seem as though Bellin breaking away a little bit in that 4th position. will look back now to see Mr. Heppo and Fubuki still fighting side by side right now. Not quite able to go for anything just yet, as Mr. Heppo has moved ahead of Fubuki, but Fubuki definitely fighting back to try and reclaim that 8th position. Really using all the track. Mr. Heppo going defensive into this next corner. Definitely seems as though Mr. Heppo with the better line. Fubuki trying to go wide to get the switchback, but it hasn't worked out. Fubuki losing the rear. Has lost a good few tenths there to Mr. Heppo. Really unfortunate there for Fubuki. Was having a very decent fight with Mr. Heppo the whole way around the track, it seemed. We just missed it as we had to watch Tay, Bellin and Vitmin G. As actually looking up further ahead, we do have Vitmin G and Axel coming into the pits for what seems like their final pit stop. Axel still with 32% of fuel, so doing a fantastic job on fuel so far. Definitely seemed like they over-fueled in that initial pit stop, but Vitmin G going right on the limit of how much fuel that they can take. But we'll look up ahead now to see Apex Predator right close to ERT Electra. It's definitely going to be close between the two of them. Apex Predator with 1.5 seconds worth of gap to ERT Electra, but Electra has been eating into that gap so fast. It was around 5-6 seconds earlier on. But Apex Predator not quite able to hold the same pace. Currently on the harder compound of tyres. And Electra on the medium compound of tyres, the much softer tyre, the faster tyre, has been able to eat into that gap that Apex Predator has currently got. Could we see one of them duck into the pits quickly to try and get an undercut? We'll have to see what Apex Predator decides to do. It's coming through the final chicane. Apex Predator opting to go into the pits, getting that undercut as expected. On the hard compound of tyres right now, still with 15% of fuel, so had the option to continue going on, but decided enough is enough. It's time to get that undercut on Electra and try and claim this race victory. As Apex Predator, not normally one we see in contention for the race victory. We always see him in contention for the, what's it called? The podium positions. But not normally for the race victory, but doing a fantastic job right now and is definitely in that fight. We'll check back quickly, as I'm not 100% sure, but we may have seen, nope, the replay function is still broken, so we will not do that. But we'll look ahead at Mr. Heppo and Apex Predator going side by side down this main straight. Mr. Heppo moving ever so slightly ahead, and that's really unfortunate there for Apex Predator. He needs that clear track ahead of him, but looking back, we have Wizard and Fubuki very close to one another right now. Wizard was running in second place earlier on in this race, but wasn't quite able to hold onto the car just as well as the others. Unfortunately making a mistake earlier on, which dropped him down a good 10 seconds behind what was race time. Looking ahead, actually, we have Apex Predator right on the back, but we do have Fubuki and Wizard going side by side, going into this next corner. Wizard trying to look around the outside, not quite able to make that work. Very difficult place to make a move, but Apex Predator really right on the rear of Mr. Heppo, as he needs to get past ASAP if he wants a chance of beating Elegna, as getting a better run through this complex of corners. Moving ahead of Mr. Heppo. Mr. Heppo is going to try to hold that inside line properly though, but no, Apex Predator deciding enough's enough. I need to get this move done right now, braking later than Mr. Heppo and moving up into third place. Elegna seemingly with more fuel though. It's definitely going to come down to the wire here. Could Apex Predator cut through this final section much faster and really try to cement his fighting chance for first place? I'm losing words here as it's getting so tense. In what is definitely going to be a fight for first place. Elegna could come out of the pits at any moment now. He has come out of the pits. Elegna with 60% of fuel and ahead of Apex Predator, as Apex Predator running down to the first corner, as Elegna much further up the road right now than Apex Predator, 1.2 seconds ahead. That's so unfortunate there for Apex Predator, but he does still have the potential to fight back, is the thing. The race is not over. I'll have to see what Apex Predator is able to do. Currently going purple in the first sector, so he's definitely a man on a mission here. He's not done with this race victory, as anything could still happen. We'll watch with Apex Predator, just see what he's able to do on this lap, whether he's able to hang on to Alegna, keep pushing that car to its ragged limits. Try to keep Alegna honest in this fight for first place. Apex Predator unfortunately losing a bit of time through this lap, unfortunately losing about 3 tenths to Alegna, but Alegna not getting great run through that final complex of corners. But if we look back now, actually, we do have ADX Dawson right on the rear of Wizard. Will Wizard need to come into the pits, or will Wizard end up doing that one stop that we expected he has the possibility of doing? ADX Dawson right on the rear, though, is looking to challenge straight away. Right in the slipstream of Wizard. Wizard holding the normal racing line, touching the grass ever so slightly. As Dawson easily able to look down the inside and get the move done. And Dawson moving up into 4th place right now, doing a fantastic job so far. But the two unknowns right now really are Wizard and Lookman. Two guys who possibly are on an entirely different strategy to the rest of the field. And Dawson, in fact, going purple in the first sector, so Alegna's fastest lap. Clearly not very good in the first sector, but brilliant everywhere else at 36.4. Looking behind now, we do have Lookman Ali fending off Vitamin G. Obviously, Lookman possibly on that one stop we were talking about earlier. In fact, Bellin possibly on a one stop as well. We'll have to see if he's able to stretch the fuel out, as he does seem to be carrying on just as Wizard and Lookman are doing as well. But Vitamin G right on the back of Lookman, now looking down the inside, going into this hairpin, seemingly making the move work quite easily with Lookman on absolutely shot tyres on this one stop strategy. And Vitamin G easily able to make that move up into 6th place. And now Racer Tay will definitely be looking to follow Vitamin G along and move himself ahead of Lookman Ali, just as Vitamin G has been able to do. As Lookman Ali unfortunately losing quite a bit of pace on those older tyres in general, sorry. But looking ahead, we will just see Bellin for a moment, currently holding a comfortable first position, 15 seconds to Alegna and Apex Predator behind. However, we're still not 100% sure whether Bellin needs to pit again. If Bellin does need to pit again, it could be disastrous. It could mean a loss of position to Apex Predator as well, which Bellin really wouldn't want. However, if he's just going to keep out on these tyres right now, it could really work out. At the end of this lap, there will only be 3 laps remaining of this race. And 13.5 seconds right now. The gap is coming down. However, is it coming down fast enough for Alegna to actually catch up to Bellin? We're not quite sure. The race definitely really close right now, and with these differing tyre strategies, it's really coming alive. But we'll look back to see Lookman now having to fend off Racer Tay. Racer Tay really closing up to the rear of Lookman, super fast, already looking down the inside in a very unorthodox place, but Lookman has to leave the space. Racer Tay getting a little bit on the green stuff, and Lookman running a little bit wide onto the Astro, not quite able to hold it. Racer Tay with a little bit of a bump actually allows Lookman back through for a second. Racer Tay, clearly with the superior grip, was easily going to make the move work anyway. And Lookman now down into 8th position. Going to have to try and hold as much speed as possible to try and hold off Axel ahead as well. Or behind, sorry, as well. As Lookman Ali was directly behind Vitamin G at the start of the last lap. However, now 1.3 seconds behind Racer Tay, so losing about 3 seconds on that lap. Lookman really going to drop on those really worn tyres of the Nissan. We'll have to see if Lookman can pick up that pace, but it's going to be difficult to pick up that pace on those extremely old tyres. But Lookman has been doing a fantastic job in his debut in Lobby A, as well as Racetay. Can't forget Racetay doing a fantastic job, claiming 4th in the first race. And a few unfortunate penalties, meaning they're down to 7th right now in the sprint, in the feature, sorry. But still doing a fantastic job nonetheless, and proving that they deserve these spots up in the big boy lobby. As Lookman really losing a lot of time, just hemorrhaging time to Axel behind. Axel really gaining as Lookman running wide in that corner. Slightly into the gravel there, losing so much momentum and gaining a 1.3 second penalty. Not only that, running wide into the hairpin. Really unfortunate for Lookman right now, as he's going to have to move off the racing line and just allow Axel through as he burns his penalty. So unfortunate there for Lookman. Now with a comfy 11-second gap, we'll have to see if Lookman able to hold on to this 9th place, or whether Fubuki will also be able to close up onto the rear. Looking ahead, we do have Bellin only 6 seconds ahead of Alegna. Alegna really pushing his car, but obviously Alegna with tyres that are also going to be dying quite quickly right now. And we'll have to see who ends up winning this race. Obviously Bellin on the much older compound, or the much older tyre in general, sorry. And really losing a lot of time to Alegna, around 3 seconds a lap, so it's definitely going to be close coming into these final closing stages. As we definitely could end up seeing a last lap overtake here. The gap around 5 seconds right now, but decreasing rapidly with every turn. Alegna just gaining time on his much fresher medium tyres. The gap now dropping below 5 seconds, so Bellin really losing time, but he moves on to the final lap of the race, and things definitely interesting here. Will Bellin be able to hold on this final lap of the race and make this alternate strategy work, which has seemingly worked out for Wizard so far? Currently in 5th position, and with a very healthy gap to Vitminchi behind. But Bellin's heart definitely going to be racing right now, along with himself, as that was a terrible pun, I've just realised. I apologise profoundly for that. But either way, Bellin currently 3 seconds ahead of Alegna. Alegna closing so fast through every single corner. An entire second down in the first sector. Is Bellin on the fastest lap, so definitely losing so much time. And now the gap down to 2.5 seconds. It's getting so close here between the two of them. Bellin really just trying to nurse the car home, trying to bring it right down to the start-finish line in that first position. But Alegna closing up so fast. But unfortunately, Alegna's running out of overtaking opportunities here. He really needs to close up before this next corner, as this is the last real main overtaking point. However, with Bellin so slow around this track right now, anything could be an overtaking point. The gap now down to 1.3 seconds. It's getting so close between the two of them. Bellin really trying to bring it home right now. First position is Bellin's right now, but it could be Alegna's coming round to this final sector. Into the right-hander, now into the final chicane. It seems as though Bellin may have it, but Alegna right on the rear. Only 6 tenths separating the two of them. But Bellin coming now round the final corner, gets a little bit sideways through the chicane, but it seems as though Bellin, he's going to hold it. It's first place for ERT Bellin. So close between the two of them, 2 tenths separating them. The ultimate strategy in the end working out for Bellin, as that was fantastic from him. Oh, such an amazing race there, managing the fuel to perfection, and Alegna just losing out to Bellin right at the end. That was so close between the two of them. Alegna pushing Bellin right to the ragged edge, but unfortunately only able to claim second place is Alegna. But still a fantastic close finish between the two of them. Absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like that. Oh, what an amazing race. We do, of course, have Apex Predator just rounding out that top 3 podium. Unfortunate that he led the race earlier on and finished in 3rd place, but still a fantastic drive and only 5 seconds off of the top 2. He could be very proud of that. Eddie X Dawson in 4th, ERT Wisdom in 5th, Vitminchi 6th, Racetay 7th, and Axel in 8th. As Bellin Round of applause. An absolutely amazing job there from Bellin. I have never seen such a close finish. Bellin losing literally 3 seconds a lap, every single lap for those last 5 laps. And Alegna, oh, he came so close at the end there to actually finishing ahead of Bellin. As Bellin just hemorrhaging time, but just able to hold on. Absolutely amazing there from Bellin. So close between the two of them. As if you'd have said at the beginning of this race that Bellin would have ended up winning. I would have said no way, because he unfortunately didn't have the start that Apex Predator and Alegna had. But Bellin, with that alternate strategy, just made it work to perfection. Absolutely amazing there from Bellin. We'll look now at the feature race results, though. We'll confirm the rest of the grid. So, we have your winner there. ERT Bellin in first place, only 2 tenths ahead of Alegna. Another lap and Bellin would have been toast, but Bellin managing it to absolute perfection there in his Honda. Brilliant job from Bellin. Apex Predator in third place, just behind Alegna in second. ADX Dawson in fourth. Wizard rounding out the top 5. Doing a fantastic job also on the one stop. As you can see, only 5 tenths ahead of Vitamin G. So brilliant there from Wizard, also using that one-stop strategy that everyone else seemingly wrote off, but just worked out fantastically. Vitamin G in 6th, Racer Tay in 7th, Axel in 8th, Luke Manali also on that one-stop, didn't quite able to make it work out just as well as the others, but still doing a fantastic job in 9th. Fabuki rounding out that top 10, well done to Fabuki. Mr. Heppo in 11th and Hansa in 12th. And Mikey Lawson unfortunately not able to finish the race in 13th. Alegna claims the fastest lap overall. No surprise after that massive sprint towards Bellin late on. But yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. That was so close between Bellin and Alegna, and I've completely lost my breath commentating on that. As yeah, brilliant job there from Bellin, from Alegna, from Apex Predator. Really underrated in that race. Apex Predator, absolutely fantastic from him. If he watches this, I just want to say well done to him. Only 5 seconds behind guys which could easily be qualifying for live events. Alegna, obviously, having already been to the Nürburgring live event. Bellin, the top driver for Dodge many times. So, Apex Predator, you're definitely well on your way to being a top driver, and well done to him. Well done to Apex Predator, yeah. And well done to the new guys. Well done to Racer Tay, to Lookman, to Hansa, who did fantastic jobs there in their first race in Lobby 2. And yeah, I just want to say thank you all for watching. It's been fantastic commentating on this race, on what I would actually call probably the most exciting race overall. It's very unfortunate there for you, Alegna, but you have to say it definitely made for some exciting racing. And it was brilliant to commentate on, mate. And yeah, thank you all for watching very much. We'll be back next week for what is the final round, of this GR2 League around Autopolis, the new track. Going to be very exciting watching these guys race around there. Autopolis known for many mistakes being made, as grass is literally around every single corner. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week around Autopolis.